morning has a quality no other month provides. June morning is the cafe at its most important. Tides of the light that hits the room at the angle only June achieves. June morning is the groove that everyone believes is the finest of the morning's 12 available months. June morning is the groove that none of the others wants to compete. Within the quality of air and light combined, June morning is the most important groove you'll find in any month the calendar has ever put before. June morning is the cafe finally opening its door to the season at its absolute most perfect and most clear. June morning is the most important morning of the year. The June morning came in through the window in the cup. June morning is the early summer finally showing up with everything the spring was promising all along. June morning is the groove inside the morning's finest song, of the temperature that's warm but hasn't crossed the line. June morning is the morning cafe's finest sign. June morning, the light is finally right. June morning, the green outside so bright. June morning, the cup beside the glass. June morning, June morning, the finest morning class. June morning, the temperature of yes. June morning is the morning at its best. I've had the January morning and the April too. June morning is the month that's most sincere and true about the promise that the warmer light was building toward. June morning is the morning's most important chord of warmth and clarity and everything alive outside. June morning is the morning's most important prize. Something about the June light in the morning cafe chair. Something about the June morning and the quality of air. Something about the early summer and the green outside. Something about the June morning is the finest groove inside. June morning, the light is finally right. June morning, the green outside so bright. June morning, the cup beside the glass. June morning, June morning, the finest morning class. June morning, the temperature of yes. June morning is the morning at its best. The June morning is the argument for the window seat today. June morning is the groove of the most important way to receive the early summer in its most complete display. June morning is the finest start to any given day of the year, when every morning has the most to give. June morning is the most important way to live. Vibrant bright like the June light coming through. Roads piano warm like the early summer new. Walking bass below the green and golden morning. Electric guitar like the June day forming. Brush snare like the fresh air in the room. June morning, the early summer bloom. The June morning passed away the finest mornings do. June morning is the groove that carries all the way through into the afternoon that started at its very best. June morning is the morning putting June to test, and June delivering more than any month before. June morning is the cafe's most important door. June morning, the light is finally right. June morning, the green outside so bright. June morning, the cup beside the glass. June morning, the finest morning class. June morning, the temperature of yes. June morning is the morning at its best. June morning, light so clear. June morning, finest here. The cafe in the June morning is the most important room. June morning is the early summer's finest bloom. June morning, green and gold. June morning, story told. June morning, clear and bright. June morning, summer right. June morning. Before the heat arrives is the finest window of the day. Before the heat is the July morning at its best display of the cool that's left from overnight still holding in the air. Before the heat is the July morning most rare of the hour that won't survive past 8 or maybe 9. Before the heat is the July morning's finest time of the season that has given everything it has to give. Before the heat is the July morning we must live in completely while the cool remains and the light is soft. Before the heat is worth the early rise and the early cost of the alarm and the commute and the first step out the door. Before the heat is what the July morning is for. Yeah. Before the heat I had my coffee in the window seat. Before the heat is when the July morning is most sweet, in the hour that the summer hasn't fully claimed as its own. Before the heat is the finest hour I've ever known of the morning in the season that is brightest and most. Before the heat is the July morning's finest light. Before the heat the morning still is mine. Before the heat the coolness still divine. Before the heat, the July morning clear. Before the heat is the finest time of year. Before the heat, the summer soft and slow. Before the heat is all I need to know. Before the heat I found the corner table by the door. Before the heat is the July morning I've been waiting for, all the way from January through the slow and patient months. Before the heat is worth every early rise at once of the season that rewards the ones who came before the sun. Before the heat is where the July morning has begun. Something about before the heat and how the morning holds. Something about the July cool before the summer unfolds. Something about the window of the hour that won't stay. Something about before the heat is the finest July day. Before the heat, the morning still is mine. Before the heat, the coolness still divine. Before the heat, the July morning clear. Before the heat is the finest time of year. Before the heat, the summer soft and slow. Before the heat is all I need to know. Before the heat the cafe was the quietest it would be. Before the heat is the July morning most beautifully free of the rush and the noise and the weight of the full day. Before the heat is the most important July way to start the morning with the cool and the light and the slow. Before the heat is everywhere the morning needs to go. Verifism bright like the morning before 9. Rose piano warm like the July cool divine. Walking bass below the early light so clear. Electric guitar like the summer atmosphere. Rush snare like the heat still hours away. Before the heat is the finest July day. Yeah. Before the heat gave the morning what the morning always needs. Before the heat is the July morning that forever leads into the afternoon that takes the cool away for good. Before the heat is the morning misunderstood by everyone who waited for the heat to make the call. Before the heat is the finest July morning of them all. Before the heat, the morning still is mine. Before the heat, the coolness still divine. Before the heat, the July morning clear. Before the heat is the finest time of year. Before the heat, the summer soft and slow. Before the heat is all I need to know. Before the heat, cool and bright. Before the heat, morning light. Before the heat, July clear. Before the heat, summer here. Before the heat. Yeah. Yeah. Velveteen bright like the ice inside the glass. Rose piano warm like the July morning lasts. Walking bass below the condensation drip. Electric guitar like the cold glass at the lip. Brush snare like the water on the wood. Cold glass is the July morning understood. The cold glass carried everything the July morning meant. Cold glass is the summer morning perfectly well spent. In the cafe with the ice and the cold brew and the light. Cold glass is the July morning feeling just right. A of the season that is defined by what is cold inside the warm. Cold glass is the July morning's finest form. Cold glass, the July summer sweat. Cold glass, the finest morning yet. Cold glass, the condensation bright. Cold glass is the July morning right. Cold glass, the chill against the heat. Cold glass is making July complete. Cold glass, sweat and bright. Cold glass, the July right. Cold glass, morning clear. Cold glass, summer here. Cold glass, the cold glass on the table and the condensation there. Cold glass is the July morning's finest summer prayer of the ice that meets the room temperature and sweats. Cold glass is the July morning the summer never forgets, of the detail that makes everything about the heat real. Cold glass is the July morning's most important feel. Of the chill against the palm and the water on the wood. Cold glass is the July morning misunderstood as just a drink and not the most important signal that cold glass is the July morning where we're all at, in the season that is hottest and the glass that keeps it right. Cold glass is the July morning's most important sight. The cold glass left a ring upon the table in the sun. Cold glass is the July morning's most important one, of all the details that the summer cafe offers up. Cold glass is the most important thing inside the cup of the season when the temperature has finally arrived. Cold glass is how the July morning cafe thrived. Oh, cold glass, the July summer sweat. Cold glass, the finest morning yet. Cold glass, the condensation bright. Cold glass is the July morning right. Cold glass, the chill against the heat. Cold glass is making July complete. I wrap my hands around the cold glass before the first sip came. Cold glass is the July morning's most important frame of the season and the heat and the ritual of the cool. Cold glass is the July morning's finest school of the summer and the way the cold survives inside the warm. Cold glass is the July morning's finest form. Something about the cold glass and the way it holds the chill. Something about the July morning giving me the thrill. Something about the condensation running down the side. Something about the cold glass is the July morning's guide. Cold glass, the July summer sweat. Cold glass, the finest morning yet. Cold glass, the condensation bright. Cold glass is the July morning right. Cold glass, the chill against the heat. Cold glass is making July complete. The cold glass is the most important prop in every July scene. Cold glass is the July morning cleanest and most clean of the detail that distinguishes the season at its peak. Cold glass is the detail that the July mornings seek to define themselves against the season and the heat. Cold glass is everything that makes July complete. Riveting bright like the ice inside the glass. Rhodes piano warm like the July morning last. Walking bass below the condensation drip. Electric guitar like the cold glass at the lip. Brush snare like the water on the wood. Cold glass is the July morning understood. The cold glass carried everything the July morning meant. Cold glass is the summer morning perfectly well spent in the cafe with the ice and the cold brew and the light. Cold glass is the July morning feeling just right of the season that is defined by what is cold inside the warm. Cold glass is the July morning's finest form. Cold glass, the July summer sweat. Cold glass, the finest morning yet. Cold glass, the condensation bright. Cold glass is the July morning right. Cold glass, the chill against the heat. Cold glass is making July complete. Cold glass, sweat and bright. A cold glass, July right. A cold glass, morning clear. Cold glass, summer here. Cold glass. fan above is turning at the pace July deserves. Fan above is the ceiling of the cafe that observes every morning customer who came before the heat. The fan above is making every July morning sweet with the slow rotation of the blades that move the air. Fan above is the most important feature there of the summer cafe on the morning that arrives. Fan above is how the July morning cafe thrives in the heat that fills the street while the inside stays just right. Fan above is the July morning's finest right to be cool while the summer does his work outside the glass. Fan above is making every July morning last. The fan above was already turning when I walked inside. Fan above is the July morning cafe's finest guide to the table by the window with the light and with the air. Fan above is the most important reason I'm still there at the hour when the heat outside is working on the street. Fan above is making every July morning sweet. Fan above, the slow July rotation. Fan above, the morning cafe's finest station. Fan above, the cool that holds the heat away. Fan above is turning through the July day. Fan above, the rhythm in the air. Fan above is always, always there. I settled underneath the fan above before the rush began. Fan above is the most important thing in every summer plan of the cafe morning ritual when the temperature is right. Fan above is making the July morning feel just right. In the blaze that slice the heavy air and make it something else. Fan above is the cafe morning mind in all itself. Something about the fan above and how it holds the heat. Something about the July morning finally complete. Something about the slow rotation that the summer needs. Something about the fan above is where the morning leads. Fan above, the slow July rotation. Fan above, the morning cafe's finest station. Fan above, the cool that holds the heat away. Turning through the July day. Fan above, the rhythm in the air. Fan above is always, always there. Yeah. The fan above is the most important architecture in the room. Fan above is keeping every July morning from the bloom of the heat that would reclaim the air without its patient work. Fan above is the cool that never seems to shirk its duty to the morning and the people in the space. Fan above is setting every July morning's pace. Bop, 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 like the fan blade catching light. Roads piano warm like the morning turning right. Walking bass below the slow rotation sound. Electric guitar like the coolness going round. Brush snare like the fan blade on its spin. Fan above is where the morning begins. The fan above gave July morning what it needed most. Fan above is the most important July morning host of the cool that makes the heat outside feel far enough away. Fan above is keeping every July morning at bay of the temperature that rises past the point of comfortable. Fan above is making the July morning wonderful. Fan above, the slow July rotation. Fan above, the morning cafe's finest station. Fan above, the cool that holds the heat away. Fan above's turning through the July day. Fan above, the rhythm in the air. Fan above is always, always there. Fan above, slowing round. Fan above, the morning sound. Fan above, cool and bright. Fan above, July right. Fan above. brew is how July morning starts. Ice and brew is the season shifting in the cafe arts of the summer finally hot enough to make the switch. Ice and brew is the morning cafe's finest switch from the hot to the cold without losing any soul. Ice and brew is the July morning's finest goal of the glass that sweats before you even raise it up. Ice and brew is the most satisfying July cup of the summer, fully committed to the cold. Ice and brew is the July morning story told in the clink of ice and the pour of the cold brew slow. Ice and brew is the July morning's finest show. The ice and brew went in before the morning had a chance. Ice and brew is the July morning's most important dance between the heat outside and the chill inside the glass. Ice and brew is the summer ritual that will last all the way through the season, every morning just the same. Ice and brew is the July morning's finest frame. Ice and brew, the July morning call. Ice and brew, the finest of them all. Ice and brew, the cold against the heat. Ice and brew is making July complete. Ice and brew, the glass already sweating now. Ice and brew is showing July how. I made the switch somewhere between the June and July heat. Ice and brew is what made the summer morning finally complete. The cold brew ready from the night before and waiting there. Ice and brew is the July morning in the air of the cafe that already knew the season had arrived. The ice and brew is how the July morning survived. Something about the ice and the cold brew meeting cold. Something about the July morning story being told. Something about the glass that sweats before the first sip comes. Something about ice and brew is how July morning becomes. Ice and brew, the July morning call. Ice and brew, the finest of them all. Ice and brew, the cold against the heat. Making July complete. Ice and brew, the glass already sweating now. Ice and brew is showing July how. The ice and brew is the most important ritual of the heat. Ice and brew is what makes every July morning complete. In the window of the season when the temperature climbs high, ice and brew is the most important reason why the morning still belongs to the ones who came here first. Ice and brew is curing every July summer thirst. Bright like the cold brew over ice. Rose piano like the July morning ice. Walking bass below the cool and the bright. Electric guitar like the summer burning right. Brush snare like the ice cube settling down. Ice and brew is the finest sound in town. The ice and brew kept the July morning at its best. Ice and brew is the season passing every test of the heat that rises while the cold brew keeps it right. Ice and brew is the July morning's finest light. Of everything the summer asks of the morning hour. Ice and brew is the July morning at its power. Ice and brew, the July morning call. Ice and brew, the finest of them all. Ice and brew, the cold against the heat. Ice and brew is making July complete. Yeah, ice and brew, the glass already sweating now. Ice and brew is showing July how. Ice and brew, cold and bright. Ice and brew, July right. Ice and brew, morning clear. Ice and brew, summer here. Ice and brew. The July light arrived before the heat, remember too. July light is the morning cafe's most important view of the summer at its most committed and its most intense. July light is the morning's most important sense of the season, finally delivering what it promised all along. July light is the morning cafe's most important song. Of the gold that hits the table at the angle only July makes. July light is the morning cafe's most important stakes. Of the beautiful and the blinding and the warm beyond the warm. July light is the morning cafe's most important form. Of everything the summer has to offer in the early hour. July light is the morning at its most important power. The July light is sharper than the June light ever was. July light is the morning cafe, making the most beautiful pause between the overnight cool and the coming afternoon. July light is the morning's most important tune of the summer, fully committed to its brightest possible display. July light is the finest morning of the finest day. July light, the brightest of the year. July light, the morning finally clear. July light, the gold across the floor. July light is what the summer mornings are for. July light, the heat's still sleeping now. July light is the morning showing how. I came early to catch the July light before the heat arrives. July light is the morning where the summer most thrives. In the window of the hour when the brilliant and the cool. July light is the morning's most important school of the season at its peak, without the full weight of the noon. July light is the summer morning's finest tune. Something about the July light and how it hits the cup. Something about the July morning finally lighting up. Something about the gold that only high summer provides. Something about the July light is the morning's finest ride. The brightest of the year. July light, the morning finally clear. July light, the gold across the floor. July light is what the summer mornings are for. July light, the heat's still sleeping now. July light is the morning showing how. The July light is doing what no other month achieves. July light is the morning, the most important, that believes in the power of the early and the value of the bright. July light is the summer's most important right, to be received before the heat has claimed the day as its own. July light is the finest thing the summer mornings know. The bright like the July gold, rose piano warm like the summer story told. Walking bass below the brilliant morning light, electric guitar like the summer burning right. Brush snare like the heat still far away. July light, the finest morning of the day. The July light gave the morning its most important hour. July light is the summer morning at its finest power, of the gold that comes before the noon reclaims the room. July light is the summer's most important bloom of everything the season has committed to the bright. July light is the morning's most important light. July light, the brightest of the year. July light, the morning finally clear. July light, the gold across the floor. July light is what the summer mornings are for. Still sleeping now. July light is the morning showing how. July light gold so bright. July light morning ride. The cafe in the July light is the most important room. July light is the summer's finest bloom. July light, bright and gold. July light, stories told. July light, morning clear. July light, summer here. July light. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum 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 dum. Yeah. The July regular knows the summer cafe like a second home. July regular is the one who never has to check the phone for the order or the table or the timing of the day. July regular is the July morning's finest way of being owned by the barista in the corner in the light. July regular is the July morning done just right, of the season and the ritual in the face they recognize. July regular is the July morning's finest prize. Of the summer and the habit and the showing up each day. July regular is the most important July way to inhabit the season with the fullness of the known. July regular is the finest July morning zone. The July regular arrived before the morning rush began. July regular is the summer cafe's finest plan, of the customer who comes each day and claims the same position. July regular is the July morning's finest mission, of the season and the space and the coffee and the seat. July regular is what makes the July morning complete. July regular, the face they know. July regular, the morning show. July regular, the same seat every day. July regular is the finest July way. July regular, the summer habit made. July regular is the finest summer trade. I became the July regular somewhere around the second week. July regular is exactly what the July mornings seek, of the person who was found the place and the time and the spot. July regular is the finest thing that July mornings got, of the ritual and the recognition and the routine. July regular is the finest July morning scene. Something about the July regular and how the morning knows. Something about the summer cafe and where the regular goes. Something about the order placed before the barista asks. Something about the July regular is the finest of July's tasks. July regular, the face they know. July regular, the morning show. July regular, the same seat every day. Is the finest July way. July regular, the summer habit made. July regular is the finest summer trade. The July regular is the most important character in the room. July regular is the one who makes the summer cafe bloom, with the presence of the familiar in the peak of the season's run. July regular is the finest thing the July morning's done, of the summer and the habit and the face and the routine. July regular is the most important July scene. Bright, bright like the morning that they know. Rose piano warm like the regular's finest show. Walking bass below the same seat every day. Electric guitar like the July regular's way. Brush snare like the order placed before the ask. July regular is the finest summer task. The July regular gave the summer cafe what it needed most. July regular is the morning that the summer loves to host, of the familiar and the known and the showing up each day. July regular is the July morning's finest way to be in the season with the fullness of the regular's claim. July regular is the July morning that remains. July regular, the face they know. July regular, the morning show. July regular, the same seat every day. July regular is the finest July way. July regular, the summer habit made. July regular is the finest summer trade. July regular. The midsummer mood is settled into everything today. Midsummer mood is the July morning's finest way of acknowledging the season at its most committed height. Midsummer mood is the July morning's finest right to be recognized as the peak of what the year can do. Midsummer mood is the July morning through and through, of the heat that comes with purpose and the light that hits the full. Midsummer mood is the July morning at its pull, of the season that has finally delivered everything it said. Midsummer mood is the July morning's finest thread, of the summer in the cafe in the morning at the peak. Midsummer mood is the July morning we all seek. The midsummer mood arrived before the morning was complete. Midsummer mood is what made every July morning sweet, in the way that only peak summer understands and knows. Midsummer mood is where the July morning goes, when the season has committed to the brightest possible state. Midsummer mood is what makes July feel most great. Midsummer mood, the peak July feeling. Midsummer mood, the summer most revealing. Midsummer mood, the morning at its height. Midsummer mood is the July morning ride. Midsummer mood, the season fully here. Midsummer mood is the finest of the year. Yeah, I settled into the midsummer mood before the day began. Midsummer mood is the most important summer plan of being present in the season at its absolute peak. Midsummer mood is exactly what the July mornings seek to establish as the feeling of the summer at its core. Midsummer mood is what the July morning is for. Something about the midsummer mood and how it fills the room. Something about the July morning at its finest bloom. Something about the peak that only comes this time of year. Something about the midsummer mood is always, always here. Midsummer mood, the peak July feeling. Midsummer mood, the summer most revealing. Midsummer mood, the morning at its height. Midsummer mood is the July morning ride. Midsummer mood, the season fully here. Midsummer mood is the finest of the year. Yeah, the midsummer mood is the most important feeling of the season. Midsummer mood is every July morning's finest reason to be awake and present in the peak of what the year provides. Midsummer mood is where the July morning rides, all the way through the morning until the afternoon takes hold. Midsummer mood is the most important summer story told. Bob the bright light like the midsummer peak. Rose piano warm like the summer story we see. Walking bass below the morning at its height. Electric guitar like the midsummer light. Brush snare like the season's finest beat. Midsummer mood is making everything complete. The midsummer mood carries everything the summer promised through. Midsummer mood is the July morning bright and true, of the season that has reached the absolute middle of its run. Midsummer mood is the July morning done, with everything but presence in the peak of what we have. Midsummer mood is the July morning's finest path. Midsummer mood, the peak July feeling. Midsummer mood, the summer most revealing. Midsummer mood, the morning at its height. Midsummer mood is the July morning ride. The season fully here. Midsummer mood is the finest of the year. Midsummer mood, peaking bright. July right, midsummer mood, the season clear. Midsummer mood, summer here. Midsummer mood. The morning cool is the gift that July gives before it takes. Morning cool is the summer's most important stakes, of the hour that is cool before the sun commits its full. Morning cool is the July morning's greatest pull, of the temperature that stayed from overnight until the 8. Morning cool is what makes every July morning great, of the summer that has given us this window of the fresh. is the July morning at its best. Of the brief and the beautiful and the temporary gift. Morning cool is the July morning's finest lift. Of the season that is honest about what it gives and takes. Morning cool is the best and finest deal July makes. The morning cool was waiting at the open cafe door. Morning cool is the July morning's finest floor. Of the temperature that welcomes before the heat begins. Morning cool is where the July morning wins against the expectation that the summer means the sweat. Morning cool is the July morning's finest yet. Morning cool, the July gift before the heat. Morning cool, the summer. Morning sweet. Morning cool, the fresh before the noon. Morning cool is the July morning's finest tune. Morning cool, the brief and beautiful. Morning cool is making July wonderful. I stepped into the morning cool before the sun had claimed the street. Morning cool is the July morning's finest beat of the hour that is free from what the season mostly brings. Morning cool is the July morning when everything sings of the fresh and the open and the temperature just right. Morning cool is the July morning's finest light. Something about the morning cool and how it makes the start. Something about the July morning and its coolest part. Something about the window up the fresh before the rise. Something about the morning cool is the July morning's prize. Morning cool, the July gift before the heat. Morning cool, the summer. Morning sweet. Morning cool, the fresh before the noon. Morning cool is the July morning's finest tune. Morning cool, the brief and beautiful. Morning cool is making July wonderful. The morning cool is the most important reason to be early. Morning cool is what makes every July morning clearly worth the effort of the rise before the heat has staked its claim. Morning cool is the July morning's finest frame of the season that is given even as it takes away. Morning cool is the July morning's finest day. Bright like the morning air so clear. Rose piano warm like the cool we hold so dear. Walking bass below the fresh and open dawn. Electric guitar like the morning almost gone. Brush snare like the cool before the heat. Morning cool is making July complete. The morning cool gave July morning what it needed to survive. Morning cool is the reason that July morning is alive. And the imagination and the memory of the best. Morning cool is the July morning's finest test of appreciation for the brief and the beautiful and the rare. Morning cool is the most important July the July gift before the heat. Morning cool, the summer. Morning sweet. Morning cool, the fresh before the noon. Morning cool is the July morning's finest tune. Morning cool, the brief and beautiful. Morning cool is making July wonderful. Morning cool, fresh and bright. Morning cool, July right. The morning cool, brief and clear. Summer here. Morning cool. The window open in the morning came in with the breeze. Open window is the cafe's most important tease of the early summer finally arriving at the glass. Open window is the moment that the seasons pass into the version that the winter was preparing all along. Open window is the morning's most important song of the air that carries something green and something warm and new. Open window is the morning letting everything come through. The curtain moved and everything the outside had to give. Open window is the most important way to live. The first hour of the summer morning in the cafe air. Open window is the groove of the most important there. The open window changed the temperature of everything inside. Open window is the morning's most important pride of the first real day when everything outside is finally right. Open window is the early summer's finest light, arriving through the frame and filling all the room with June. Open window is the morning's most important tune. Open window, the breeze is coming through. Open window, the morning feeling new. Oh, open window, the early summer air. Oh, open window is the groove beyond compare. Oh, open window, the curtain moving light. Open window, the morning finally right. Yeah, I ordered the coffee in position by the open frame. Open window is the morning, nothing quite the same as the closed-in version of the cafe that the winter held. The open window is the groove that finally expelled the last of the interior and let the outside in. Open window is the morning's finest begin. Something about the open window in the early summer air. Something about the breeze arriving from the somewhere out there. Something about the first warm morning that the cafe lets inside. Something about the open window is the morning's finest ride. Oh, open window, the breeze is coming through. Open window, the morning feeling new. Oh, open window, the early summer compare. Oh, window, the curtain moving light. Open window, the morning finally right. The open window drew the morning and the morning drew me in. Open window is the groove of the most important begin of the season when the cafe finally breathes the outside too. Open window is the early summer coming through, and all is green and warm and light and something in the air. Open window is the most important morning there. Yeah. Vibe right like the early summer breeze. Roads piano warm like the morning through the trees. Walking bass below the open windows flow. Electric guitar like the morning's golden glow. Brush snare like the curtain catching air. Oh, open window groove, the morning finally there. The open window held the morning in its finest frame. Open window is the early summer's finest claim on the cafe that the winter kept too tight and too inside. Open window is the morning's most important guide into the season when the groove can finally breathe the real. Oh, open window is the early summer's most authentic feel. The breeze is coming through. Open window, the morning feeling new. Oh, open window, the early summer air. Open window is the groove beyond compare. Open window, the curtain moving light. Open window, the morning finally right. Oh, breeze so clean. Open window, morning green. The cafe with the open window is the most important room. Open window is the early summer's finest bloom. Open window, fresh and free. Open window, just for me. Open window, summer near, finally here. Open window, finally here. Open window. The shade side of the street is where the July morning lives. Shade side is the finest thing the summer terrace gives to the one who picked the table on the shadow of the wall. Shade side is the most important July morning call of the terrace that divides between the sun and the retreat. Shade side is what makes every July morning sweet, of the cafe that has two sides and only one is right. Shade side is the July morning done just right. In the corner where the awning cuts the brightness of the day, shadeside is the July morning's finest way to enjoy the summer without taking on a full July. Shadeside is the July morning's finest reply. The shadeside had a table with my name on it today. Shadeside is the July morning's most important way of being in the summer without burning in the sun. Shadeside is the July morning's most important one. Of all the choices that the summer terrace has to give, shadeside is the finest way the July morning lives. Shadeside, the cool July retreat. Shadeside, the morning terrace suite. Shadeside, the awning overhead. Shadeside is where the morning lay. Shadeside, the shadow on the wall. Shadeside is the finest July call. I found the shadeside table before anyone could take. Shadeside is the July morning's most important stake. In the day before the heat is taking everything outside, shadeside is the July morning's finest guide to the outdoor morning that the summer makes available. Shadeside is the July morning most comfortable. Something about the shade side and the temperature it holds. Something about the July morning story being told. Something about the awning and the shadow on the floor. Something about the shade side is what the July mornings are for. Shade side, the cool July retreat. Shade side, the morning terrace suite. Shade side, the awning overhead. Shade side is where the morning lay. Shade side, the shadow on the wall. Shadeside is the finest July call. The shadeside is the most important geography of July. Shadeside is the summer morning reason why the terrace is the finest place to be before the noon. Shadeside is the July morning's finest tune of the outdoor and the cool and the bright all at once. Shadeside is the July morning's finest stunts. By the bright like the light beyond the shade. Roads piano warm like the morning plans we made. Walking bass below the awning overhead. Electric guitar like the July morning LED. Brush snare like the shadow on the stone. Shadeside is the finest July morning's on. The shadeside gave the morning everything it needed there. Shadeside is the July morning in the finest air of the terrace and the awning in the shadow of the wall. Shadeside is the July morning's finest call to be outside while the summer does its work in the full sun. Shadeside is the July morning's most important one. Shadeside, the cool July retreat. Shadeside, the morning terrace suite. Shadeside, the awning overhead. Shadeside is where the morning lay. Shadeside, the shadow on the wall. Shadeside is the finest July call. Shadeside, shadeside, cool retreat. Shadeside, morning sweet. Shadeside, shadow bright. Shadeside, July right. Shadeside. The summer seat is the one in the corner by the shade. Summer seat is the most important choice that I've ever made. Of the table that is protected from the July sun. Summer seat is the most important July one. Of the layout of the cafe that is hidden one good spot. Summer sea is the coolest and the finest that we've got of the morning that is blazing on the other side of glass. Summer sea is where the finest July mornings pass, in the shading and the cooling with the light coming through right. Summer sea is the July morning's finest sight, of the corner that is protected and the table that is mine. Summer sea is the July morning's finest sign. The summer seat was waiting like it knew I'd come today. Summer seat is the July morning's most important way of claiming the best position before the morning fills. Summer seat is the finest of the July morning thrills, of the corner and the shade and the view and the cool. Summer seat is the July morning's finest school. Summer seat, the shaded corner mine. Summer seat, the July morning fine. Summer seat, the best spot in the room. Summer seat is keeping July from the gloom. Summer seat, the table I protect. Summer seat is the July morning's best effect. I got the summer seat before the cafe filled with people. Summer seat is the most important July ritual of the early rise and the walk and the claiming of the space. Summer seat is the July morning's finest place, of all the tables in the room and all the options there. Summer seat is the most important morning chair. Something about the summer seat and how it makes the day. Something about the July morning's most important way. Something about the position in the shade by the wall. Something about the summer seat is the finest July call. Summer seat, the shaded corner mine. Summer seat, the July morning fine. Summer seat, the best spot in the room. Summer seat is keeping July from the gloom. Summer seat, the table I protect. Summer seat is the July morning's best effect. The summer seat is the most important real estate in July. Summer seat is the July morning reason why. The early customer is always the one who wins the day. Summer seat is the July morning's finest way to be in the summer without surrendering to the heat. Summer seat is what makes every July morning sweet. Bright the light like the light across the room. Rose piano warm like the morning at its bloom. Walking bass below the corner where I sit. Electric guitar like the summer morning. Lit brush snare like the shade against the wall. Summer seat is the finest July morning call. The summer seat gave the July morning its most important frame. Summer seat is the reason every July morning came, with the feeling of the winner who arrived before the rest. Summer seat is putting every July morning to the test of the early and the effort and the claiming of the space. Summer seat is the finest July morning place. Shaded corner mine. Summer seat, the July morning fine. Summer seat, the best spot in the room. Summer seat is keeping July from the gloom. Summer seat, the table I protect. Summer seat is the July morning's best effect. Summer seat, shade and cool. Summer seat, morning rule. Summer seat, corner bright. Summer seat, July right. Summer seat, summer seat. The June morning has a quality no other month provides. June morning is the cafe at its most important tides, of the light that hits the room at the angle only June achieves. June morning is the groove that everyone believes is the finest of the morning's 12 available months. June morning is the groove that none of the others wants to compete within the quality of air and light combined. June morning is the most important groove. you'll find in any month the calendar has ever put before. June morning is the cafe finally opening its door to the season at its absolute most perfect and most clear. June morning is the most important morning of the year. The June morning came in through the window in the cup. June morning is the early summer finally showing up with everything the spring was promising all along. June morning is the groove inside the morning's finest song, of the temperature that's warm but hasn't crossed the line. June morning is the morning cafe's finest sign. June morning, the light is finally right. June morning, the green outside so bright. June morning, the cup beside the glass. June morning, June morning, the finest morning class. June morning, the temperature of yes. June morning is the morning at its best. I've had the January morning and the April too. June morning is the month that's most sincere and true about the promise that the warmer light was building toward. June morning is the morning's most important chord of warmth and clarity and everything alive outside. June morning is the morning's most important prize. Something about the June light in the morning cafe chair. Something about the June morning and the quality of air. Something about the early summer and the green outside. Something about the June morning is the finest groove inside. June morning, the light is finally right. June morning, the green outside so bright. June morning, the cup beside the glass. June morning, June morning, the finest morning class. June morning, the temperature of yes. June morning is the morning at its best. The June morning is the argument for the window seat today. June morning is the groove of the most important way to receive the early summer in its most complete display. June morning is the finest start to any given day of the year, when every morning has the most to give. June morning is the most important way to live. Vibrant bright like the June light coming through. Roads piano warm like the early summer new. Walking bass below the green and golden morning. Electric guitar like the June day forming. Brush snare like the fresh air in the room. June morning, the early summer bloom. The June morning passed away the finest mornings do. June morning is the groove that carries all the way through into the afternoon that started at its very best. June morning is the morning putting June to test, and June delivering more than any month before. June morning is the cafe's most important door. June morning, the light is finally right. June morning, the green outside so bright. June morning, the cup beside the glass. June morning, the finest morning class. June morning, the temperature of yes. June morning is the morning at its best. June morning, light so clear. June morning, finest here. The cafe in the June morning is the most important room. June morning is the early summer's finest bloom. June morning, green and gold. June morning, story told. June morning, clear and bright. June morning, summer right. June